What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. You guys, Derek and Cody with you as always. Guys, we had another video before of talking about wide receiver 2 battles going on. So if you haven't seen that video, I highly encourage you to go do so. But guys, we want to talk about this other video here where there is a special connection happening amongst the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts and another weapon on this offense that a lot of people are noticing. And it was something that Cody and I talked about a couple weeks ago that we said could be the secret weapon for this offense. Some of you didn't want to admit it, but it's showing very, very quickly. So we're going to go ahead and hop into this, guys. We're going to talk about the relationship between Anthony Richardson and Colts wide receiver Josh Downs. Cody, I know it's only been 4 practices. We'd mentioned that in the other video, but so far, I think through the 22 receptions that Anthony Richardson has thrown and completed in 7-on-7 and 11-on-11s, I think mainly just 11-on-11s, I believe at least 8 of those are by wide receiver Josh Downs. He has the overwhelming majority of the catches. I think he actually doubles the next closest person in regards to the next amount of catches for the Indianapolis Colts so far in camp. Now, like I said, Cody, it is the first week. A lot of things will change, but I mean, we talked about what these two could do last year with each other, and we kind of saw a little glimpse of it last year while Anthony Richardson was healthy. How does it feel knowing that they're back picking it up right where they left off and honestly might be even doing even better?
Yeah, it's pretty insane that it seems like they haven't missed a beat so far through camp. But I mean, you saw, Derek, even when AR was out there, him and Josh Downs were already forming that really good connection. I mean, you saw in multiple games, whether it was the Ram game, whether it was the Titans game, whatever. Josh Downs and Anthony Richardson, they had this special relationship. I mean, it dated all the way back, Derek, to, right after the draft when they were throwing together. They were doing stuff during training camp. They were doing all these things to build that chemistry right away, coming out of the same draft class and stuff. So I really do think it's a special connection that has a lot of potential to be really, really good for the Colts for a long, long time. And it's cool to see already that very clearly Josh Downs is one of the top weapons for Anthony Richardson, one of his top targets, one of the guys that he clearly trusts very well, that he's throwing the football so much. And I mean, Josh Downs had over 100 targets last year, and you just think, is that going to potentially go up this year just with the trust that Anthony Richardson and Josh Downs had together? So it is very exciting, Derek. It's a very exciting prospect that the Indianapolis Colts have this connection with these two young guys. And obviously, if all goes well, you really expect that connection to grow exponentially this year as they actually have more snaps together. So, yeah, it's a very exciting duo, man. And the cool thing is about it is Josh Downs helps Anthony Richardson where maybe his game has been deficient in the past, right? We talk about how the big thing with Anthony Richardson has been his short to intermediate game, right? That's what we've talked about. That was kind of the biggest knock on him last year coming out of college and stuff, was that, yes, he can throw the deep ball, but can he throw the short to intermediate on a semi-consistent basis, right? And he had his struggles last year at doing that as well when it comes to the accuracy. So definitely helps to have a player like Josh Downs that you trust and can continue to help you develop that game, because we know Josh Downs last year made a living in the short to intermediate game because being in that slot position, that was kind of naturally where he went a lot of times. Now, of course, the Colts and Anthony Richardson and Josh Downs, they had a few times where they went down the field and they had some success doing so. But I just really think this connection has some special stuff in it because Josh Downs, is a guy that can handle over 100 targets per year. And Anthony Richardson needs to continue to develop his game in the short to intermediate route. So I think it's a really good match. It really helps complement each other in a lot of ways. And so I'm just excited to see already that this connection's really picked up where it left off last year after that Tennessee game when AR went down. I mean, they were cooking, man, in that game, if you remember.
Yep.
And so I'm excited to see what that looks like moving forward. And the fact that they have now a second full offseason together is extremely exciting as well. That chemistry has to be off the charts right now.
Yeah, I feel like every practice that we're seeing in training camp right now, I see the same reoccurring tweets a lot of times. I mean, we see at least once a practice, Josh Downs is connecting with Anthony Richardson on some great big play. And people are just reiterating the same point that the chemistry between Anthony Richardson and Josh Downs just is evidently great. I mean, they just seem to get each other. They just seem to know where to be at in sync with each other right now. And this is fantastic, and it's great that Anthony Richardson has found himself a reoccurring target, especially since last year, Cody, with the Colts offense last year, it had to be Michael Pittman or no one else because one, Josh Downs was dealing with a few injuries every once in a while, but at the same time, Gardner Minshew was having a difficult time anticipating when Josh Downs was going to be open. And it just had to be a Michael Pittman show all the time. So when you see these things like with Anthony Richardson finding Josh Downs frequently, Adonai Mitchell making these great big plays every once in a while, Michael Pittman having a few good receptions, Alec Pierce having a few good receptions. It feels like the group itself is coming together so well. And I mean, Anthony Richardson has looked so in sync during 11 on 11s throughout these sessions so far. I mean, do you also think that the reason why we're seeing such an increasing usage for Josh Downs is because Anthony Richardson is just getting that much more acclimated to the offense?
I think so. I think that definitely helps, and that and the chemistry, like I talked about. I think those two things definitely are just helpful. And again, like same. I said this with Anthony Richardson, and I'll say this with Josh Downs. Like just having a full year in the system, not coming in fresh as a rookie, you already kind of know what's expected of you. And so I just think that and with just the connection of both of them coming in the same point, I think all those things, and also obviously AR's progression as a quarterback, all those things have really contributed to what we've seen so far with this connection. So I think it's only up from here with this connection. If obviously stay healthy, that's the biggest thing. But if they do, I really think they have a really good thing going on, and I'm excited to see it continue to progress. I really am.
Absolutely. I mean, and just side note here, Cody, like, how does it feel to just think about it for a minute, right? Like Michael Pittman, fresh off a $25 million a year deal almost, was a guy that easily can get you 100 receptions if you go to him all the time. Josh Downs, who's an absolutely insane route technician that can get open whenever he wants to. Alec Pierce, who can take the top off of any defense, and Adonai Mitchell, who also is a route technician, just bigger than Josh Downs. I mean, it just seems like the Colts have a guy at every skill set that you could possibly want. And I think this is just going to be so fun to watch Josh Downs and Anthony Richardson and this entire offense just pick apart defenses, dude.
It's going to be a blast, man. I'm excited to see because you're right. Like, there's so many different ways that the Indianapolis Colts on offense they can attack you, right? And I think that's what's exciting and tantalizing about it all. It's like, okay, you take away Michael Pittman, okay, you have three other guys that you can use here, that can make a play potentially. And so it's like just choose your poison, like if you're an opposing defense, it's like and you can't even account for Anthony Richardson on the ground too. Like, so there's so many ways that this Indianapolis Colts passing attack can take you down. And it's exciting, man. And it's cool to see it come to a fruition. Obviously now we just need to see it on the field for 17 plus games. And then we'll kind of know 100% like, yeah, this is going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next 5, 10, 15 years, which is very exciting because Derek, between, the three players that we're talking about, Josh Downs, Anthony Richardson, and A.B. Mitchell, all of them are 22 or younger, which is just insane to me. So the Colts have three of their potential biggest weapons for the future on offense that are all not even 25, not even close to 25 yet, that are all 22 or younger, which is just crazy to me. Yeah. Not to mention Michael Pittman's 26, Alec Pierce is like 24, 25. So I mean, there's a lot here, Derek, with this Colts offense. And if everybody can stay on track, I have no doubt it's going to be a very fun year on offense.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be a fun time, guys. That is it for this video, guys. We talked about the relationship between Anthony Richardson and Josh Downs and how they have been doing at training camp so far. Let me know what you guys think of this offense and everything else going on. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for all the support. And as always, guys, go Colts.